What's up? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and from the Flats Mafia radio show from 8 to 9 a.m. on 102.5 The Bone on Sunday mornings, James Garrison and Bubba Betancourt are on Hoppe Hour. What's up, guys?
Yo. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I knew you were going to begin it that way. This whole way of thinking about how to do this interview, the whole time I knew you were going to begin with that. It wasn't even a question.
You know it. I mean,
we role played Hoppe the whole way over here in the car.
Yeah,
the whole way.
And I don't even know how it's called Hoppe Hour when really and truly, you know, you're only allowed 3 or 4 minutes with the ladies, right? How you got yourself lined up for a whole hour.
Good one, Bubba. You're such a comedian.
I heard it's 18 minutes though.
It's between 18 to 59 minutes usually.
It's on record.
Yeah.
It honestly depends on how long the video he's watching.
That's a good point, too. I play a lot of videos on here, so it really depends if it's a huge news day or a slow news day. Then it's like 49 Hoppe, like 49 minutes. But you guys are so cool, though. You guys have a Sunday morning show on the radio, so don't sit here ripping into me.
Don't do it like that. Like we're so cool. Don't.
You guys are cool. You guys are on TV. You're on the radio. You guys are winning in life.
And you make it all happen for us on Sunday morning. So
I try.
Just as cool.
I try. I'm no Roland Mizell, though.
No, you're not. I actually think you're a little better. Even though Roland asks questions a little bit more, you bring something different to the table.
My thing is I know nothing about fishing, so you guys are all my friends. I'm tired with you guys, but when you guys are talking about fishing, I have no idea what you're saying, and it's like it goes over my head. So I'd rather just let you guys talk and play the music.
Here's the problem. You tune out.
Because I don't know what you're... Because
you need to tune in. Tune in and ask the question. Say, what the hell are you talking about?
But it's your show. It's not my show.
We're together in this, and really and truly, if you stop swiping left and paid attention a little bit,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in the middle of your Tinder account.
There's 100 people out there too that are wondering the same exact thing you are. So we want you to ask the question.
I've never looked at my Tinder account though.
That's a lot. Yeah, but listen, that's what Roland brought to the table was he had no idea about fishing, and he would ask questions that a lot of the listeners want to ask the same question. He would actually ask it right there. So please feel free to ask questions. Like maybe pay attention while we're in the middle of our show.
Okay, Jesus, God.
Are we on our phones right now? Fiddling?
No.
Paying attention to you.
Now I feel kind of bad.
Yeah, now we got full attention in the Hoppe Hour. I even got my phone on silent.
Wow, man, you're making me feel like the anti-consummate professional. Like I don't know what I am, but you're making me feel bad now.
Well, you shouldn't. But I wish you would turn the AC on in here. I'm sweating like Mike Tyson at a spelling
bee. It's always hot in here. I rant, and it's just me by myself in this room, and there's times I will leave in sweat, like drenched in sweat, because I'm just so angry about Roger Goodell. What has been some of the advice that like John Brennan or Richard from sales have given you about the show? Anybody in general giving you guys advice?
I'll let Bob have that one.
Advice-wise, obviously our shows ran off our sponsors and the people who help pay for the show and get the show done. So some of the things like, I took Ian fishing one time and I took Ben Swig fishing the same time. And, I sat there and I said, hey, listen, what can you guys, tell me to, help me what I have with radio. And he was like, honestly, you're doing everything right. Just keep doing it. Keep going after the sponsors. The sponsors never end. So, that was something I never really have gotten any, I would say, advice for radio. That's kind of just what we do, just coming up with our own content and putting it out there. But I would say coming from this station is just grinding out on the sponsors.
What about you, James? How do you feel that the show has grown over the past few years of being on the Bone?
Well, just learning. When we first started out, we sucked. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It's just like we came in and just talked, and there was times where we had no rehearsal, no what's the word?
Prep?
No, we had prep. Like I do show prep, but...
You had no, test shows?
None. Zero. None of us have ever been on radio as a talk show, ever. Bubba can talk to anything, but
prior to this, we were on another radio station on an AM channel, which basically prepared us. So, so when we came to the Bone, we prior to that, yeah, we didn't know, that whole good morning, the whole intro, all that, that all came with just time. I mean, actually, I think we've been doing it from the beginning, but I mean, now it's just feeling comfortable and not being intimidated when you go into the show, whether it's a small studio, a big studio. It can be intimidating for you if you're not used to the mic being in your face. And I think the biggest thing for all of us now is that everyone's now really comfortable, and that's a big part of our show being successful, that we can all just sit back, chat, and make it entertaining.
Is it weird to think that you guys are both on TV and the radio?
I wouldn't say it's weird, because I always felt like I needed to do something in TV and radio, but at the end of the day, me and James have been talking about what the goals were for Flats Mafia, and we started hitting those goals and started making things happen. So yeah, it's weird, but it's just a matter of starting to embrace it and really just rolling with it.
Do you guys get less nervous than when you guys first began the show?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. The first time we ever did the show, I must have made 6 pages of show prep. And I think we got to maybe the second paragraph of the first page and never hit anything else. And right then is when I realized Bubba's he's the golden goose, he's the golden ticket, he's the guy we need to put as the face of the company, and just grow from him and make him build everything around him. He's our quarterback. I'm the GM, he's the quarterback.
Yeah. How did the company first begin?
First began with, this story's horrible. I'm tired of telling this story.
Give me a fast version.
Fast version. I'm sitting in school, not paying attention. I'm just drawing, wishing I was fishing instead of being in school.
What age?
I was probably 16.
Okay.
I like gangster movies. So I drew a little guy on a polling platform fishing in a gangster suit. And I thought of a name to put with it, and it was Flats Mafia. Flats being the type of area we're fishing, and Mafia, obviously. So I put them together. I used it as a tournament name, fishing-wise, and it kind of grew. Made a really bad sticker at a flea market, and it grew from there. Friends wanted it on their trucks, and that's how it grew. Turned into apparel, turned into radio, turned into TV. Here we are 10 years later.
So you would be in class just thinking about how you would want to be fishing and not in class, basically.
Yeah, I don't care about math.
Yeah, I was the same way. That was my version of radio, was I was just thinking about what I wanted to do. Like, there was nothing more miserable than being in class. I hated it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So that's all I wanted to do. That's all I could think about. It's my fishing takes me away from anything in the world that might be stressing me out. I don't think about anything. All I do is think about that fish that might be in front of me.
So you began the company. So how did you meet Bubba?
Mutual friends. We're actually related through marriage. Yeah. Found that out later. Kind of both from, he's from West Tampa. So is my wife. And everybody in West Tampa is related somehow.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It is a fact. 100% a fact.
What is West Tampa like? It seems like it has a weird vibe.
West Tampa is just like town and country, is just like North Tampa. It's basically it's your hood, your neighborhood that you grew up in. Most of the kids you went to school with through elementary, middle school to high school. And I would say, West Tampa is definitely a little bit more Latin based. 100%. Yeah, 100%. Some of the best Spanish food in Tampa.
I've wanted to know, what ethnicity are you?
I'm actually Spanish. I'm a mutt. I got a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of, I'm sure there's a little sprinkle of Cuban. There's actually some Italian in there, which I don't know if it's Sicilian or
Spanish is Cuban.
Yeah. So Spanish. I got some Spanish. My mother and father and majority of my family speak Spanish fluently. I was one of the kids that was Americanized.
Okay.
So I know how to order food, and I know how to kind of talk and communicate with people in Spanish in the most worst way about doing it, but I get it done.
The fact that you just said you know how to order food, I bet that's the one thing you know how to say in Spanish clearly. Like, you have that down pat. Like, you're like, I know how to get this. What
makes you think that?
You just seem like a guy who enjoys to eat every once in a while.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy eating. Right now, I'm currently on a diet, so I don't enjoy it that much. But, yeah, I live for eating.
How has the keto diet been?
I'll drop 6 pounds this week.
Good.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Just went to Wawa, had a spinach bowl with chicken salad in it. I felt good about it. It was delicious.
I'm the type of guy that like maintains my weight, and then I wonder why I'm not losing weight. But then I'm buying gummy worms at 2 a.m. So
I love gummy bears. I'm a sucker for gummy bears.
Sour Patch Kids, I got to do it. Beer, come on.
Well, beer's always the problem. We can't never go fishing without beer.
How often do you guys go fishing?
I try to go at least 3-4 times a week if I'm not actually already working fishing. Dad likes to go whenever he can.
How often do you go, Dad?
I go whenever my daughter allows me.
Yeah.
Things have changed since I had a kid, but before I had a child, I was at least 4 times a week.
I can see that. Do you guys ever get sick of fishing, or is it just fun every time?
I don't ever get sick of it. Even if it sucks, it's still fun.
What's so fun about it for people that think it sucks?
Well, what's fun about it? The tug is the drug. Yeah. Once you get that adrenaline rush from a fish hitting your line, and you're hearing your reel drag just scream. It's just you want it again constantly. So the second you're done landing that fish, you want it again, and you got to have it. It literally is a drug. Yeah. If you don't hear that drag screaming, you're searching for it. You can't wait to find it. You got to get your next fix.
What's been the best catch you guys have both had?
I would say my favorite catch, my favorite catch would probably be the rooster fish that I caught in Costa Rica. But I would say my favorite fish caught and landed would have been probably about 130, 140 pound tarpon.
What is that like when you pull it in? How hard was it to get the process done?
On a fish like that, sometimes it could take up to an hour and a half.
And how do you maintain your focus to not give up?
Because you want to land the fish. You want to you want that picture. You want that fish next to the boat. You want to grab the leader, and then you want to be able to show the entire world with social media.
Plus, your boys in the back not letting you give up. Because some people want to quit after 7 minutes into their fight, but you're not going to pass off a tarpon reel. No. It's not allowed. You just got to deal with it. Deal with the cramp. It hurts. It's painful.
Yeah, you're literally digging the rod into your hip or someplace on your leg to where you can keep that rod there, and you're fighting it back and forth. And, yeah, I mean, I know I got a picture. When I put my cousin on this first tarpon, there's a picture of us on the front of the boat. He was wearing a gray long-sleeve shirt, plain shirt. You would have thought someone threw a 5-gallon bucket of water on him, but it was his sweat after an hour and 20-minute fight of landing and fighting that fish, and he wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to give that rod to nobody. He wanted to land that fish. We got that fish on the boat, and it's just like almost winning the Super Bowl.
What was the worst weather you guys have ever been in, and was it hard to get out?
Well, yeah, you can start.
All right, I'm not a religious guy at all, but there has been times to where the front of the boat goes down and you see the next wave above you and it's taller than the boat, and you cannot see in front of you because it's raining so hard. And lightning's the problem for all of us. I'd say every one of us can deal with rain, but with lightning, everybody's terrified. So I'm not a religious guy at all. There's been one time in my life where I've laid at the bottom of the boat and curled up into a fetal position, praying to somebody I don't, I'm kind of an atheist, but praying, like, let me through this. I'll figure something out later down the road. Didn't happen, but I made it through the day. But lightning is terrifying on the water.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It was couple years back. It was 3:30 in the morning. We went to go sit on this lobster hole that we knew the lobster were all over, and we go out and we knew the storm was coming. We took a 30-foot tarp and brought the tarp with us. Yeah, stole the 30-foot tarp and brought the tarp with us. And when it started raining, we basically created our own tent on the boat. And it ran all the way from the back of the boat over the top of the tower down to where the front of the boat, I was laying on it so it wouldn't fly away. Meanwhile, it was the worst lightning and thunderstorm that I have ever sat through for 3 hours straight. In a boat, lightning crashing, rain, wind, just the most, like we kept saying, One guy was like, "This is stupid. We should go to the bridge. This is stupid. It's not worth it." And like we were already there, and we can't get out. We stayed.
When this happens, are there any times where you think it's time to back out, but then it's too late? Like, are there moments where you're looking at the weather and you're like, we should probably leave, but then you just go, oh, it's not going to happen, but then it happens?
Every time. We're one of those people who are like, it's not going to be too bad, or, we can beat the storm, and we're always in the dead middle of just the worst you can think of.
There's times you go offshore, you have to pick your days in certain boats. We fish out of 24-foot boats. So to go offshore, that's relatively a small boat. So you have to pick your days. A lot of times we go and it's really rough, but we still head out. We shouldn't be doing these things with one engine, but we still go. Yeah. It's just how we roll.
I mean, we actually invest in money for an EPIRB, and an EPIRB is something where if something goes terribly wrong and we are in trouble, you basically open this thing, pull the trigger on this thing, that starts sending a ping to the Coast Guard saying this boat is in distress. This is the area the boat's in, and we buy that or rent it every year because there is always that chance of something bad happening, and we always keep that on board.
What's been the worst thing that's happened? So James was in the fetal position. What about you?
Accident-wise, I've had to go to the emergency room twice.
Okay.
The first time I was sitting on the front of a boat looking back at the driver, and a boat comes through the bridge. The driver, actually I have three. The driver is still going full speed, hits a wave. It pops me up on the front of the boat. I do a front flip in the boat and almost go right out the side, and my buddy grabs me by the back of my shirt, saves me from falling out. And I'm sitting down, and I'm like, oh, my God, my knee, bro. I hurt my knee. And then I look down at my pinky, and my pinky is split from here all the way to the front of the bed and just blown up. Like, it just looks like the tip of my pinky blew up.
How bad was the pain?
It was bad. It was real bad. And I had to get my whole nail bed reconstructed and put that back together. And then Memorial Day one year, I take 30, 40 people out to an island at Davis Island, going back and forth, picking people up, back and forth. Finally get to the island. We got barbecue, tents, tubes. I mean, everybody's out there. We're about to have the baddest Memorial Day party ever. As soon as everything gets set up, I get off the boat. I'm about to crack my first beer. My buddy says, hey, the boat's not really anchored right. Let's just do it right so we can have a good time. I said, good idea. So we go back on the boat, re-anchor it. I tap my buddy on the shoulder. I'm like, all right, Bonzi, let's go. I go to jump off. I slip.
Are you serious?
Yeah. My hand comes down and hits the cleat and blew this entire part of my hand completely out. So I had to then have my buddy with everyone on the island take me from the island and drop me off at the front door on a boat at Tampa General, since it's on the river, and took me right there. I walked myself to the ER. Ended up going back out to the island and partying for a little bit until the numbing wore off, and then I was like, there's no way I can do this.
Do you ever think that's going to be your last time fishing after an injury, or do you just keep going back?
I don't think there's anything that's going to ever stop me from fishing. Zero. I'm pretty sure that's the same for you.
I don't get injured like that, so I don't know what to tell you.
What do you do to make sure that you don't get injured?
Well, I mean, I tend to fall off boats. It's Look, it's happened. I'm falling in water, so it doesn't hurt. I'm not hitting anything but what.
Hit a boat once before.
Yeah, it happens. It's going to happen when you're on the water 3-4 times a week. Out of 52 weeks in a year, you're bound to have some falls. But I've been ejected from boats. That hurts, going 30, 40 miles an hour and actually flying off the front of it and hitting water. It don't feel good, but it ain't going to stop me from going. That's user error. What, my fault?
Well, I flew off a boat in the Keys a couple years back, and that about took my life. I hit the side of the boat 3 times. Jesus. Almost blew my clothes off. Almost blew all my clothes off, lost my prescription glasses, shoes, everything. And, luckily, because the thing I was sitting on broke through the boat, it made me do a cartwheel right off the boat instead of back into it. And I think that's what probably saved my life. And I can tell you that was probably the most scariest thing, that besides, those injuring a hand and a finger, yeah, that's fine. But that was actually a life-threatening accident.
We got to go fishing sometime. I've been saying this since August and July to you guys, but
Yeah, I know. We just needed to see how cool you were, but you're cool now, so you're gonna come with us.
what did I have to prove to you guys?
Nothing. You didn't have to prove anything. Honestly, we when you first started asking, there was a lot of stuff going on with the events we had with Christmas and all that, but also a lot of the last couple of weeks we've been putting you off because you might as well wait till spring. Once March hits, the weather's beautiful. You really get to enjoy Florida in the best way you can enjoy it, and the fishing's outstanding. So for it being your first time going out fishing, I mean, I'm pretty sure no matter what, it's going to be a memory in itself. But I would like for you to go out there and actually crush the fish.
We're trying to maximize your experience.
I appreciate that.
Nobody wants to go out there. Today it was miserable. It's cold out there. Not to some Chicago people, I get it. But it's cold for us Florida people.
I was at the beach last night on a first date, and I literally did not wear a jacket, and the girl thought it was weird, but it didn't bother me. It's like 44 out.
Oh, you're weird. That's weird.
I'm a big boy, so sometimes I don't really need, I've kind of built like a manatee, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can handle the cold weather.
What if you lose all this weight because of the keto diet, though?
I'm not gonna if I hit my goal weight, which is still probably a year away. If I hit my goal weight, that's still 250. I'm gonna be a big boy the rest of my life. Plus, I can't lose too much weight because then what am I gonna do with the extra skin on my tits?
Get a boob surgery.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
What about the fanny pack?
I'm gonna do I'm gonna be doing sit-ups for that.
My God, I think you should lose a lot of weight. I think it'd be awesome. It'd be fascinating to see.
Yeah, well, it would be a lot of weight still. Yeah, I mean, I'm right now. I'm at 340, so we're talking 90 pounds still from right
250,
now.
Yeah.
But I honestly would love to be in the next 4 months, be down to 300, and then I honestly the lightest I got once I was a big boy and I dieted pretty seriously. The lightest I got was like 276, which even for me, being fit, not muscular, but I would say at 275. 275 is not bad. I said being fit, not muscular. All right.
What's it been like fishing with like famous athletes?
The coolest thing ever. Honestly, it's been something I was able to get hooked up with Deshaun Jackson, and then he brought the entire wide receiver core with the Bucks on, that was a super cool day. And then I got to fish with Matt Joyce, an ex-Rays player, which was really cool. And I mean, all these dudes are super cool people to be able to be able to show them and let them experience something they haven't experienced before, and I actually be the person that's allowing that to happen.
Now, for people that haven't heard your show or seen it, why should they check it out?
It's entertaining. I mean, even if you don't like fishing, we have a lot of people that follow the show that are fishermen. But there's a lot of times in our show we go off topic and we're talking about all kinds of other stuff. But I just think it for the simple point, it's entertaining. And then once we get our podcast off the ground, I mean, that's going to be something completely different from our show as well.
Why should they listen, James? You're sitting there quiet in the background.
To our fishing show?
And watch it on Fox.
Well, it'd be better to watch it on TV because you could definitely – a visual is always a lot easier if you're not a fishing fan. If you're a fan of fishing, obviously tune in, you'll be entertained. But the entertainment we bring to our TV shows is a total different story from what's already out there.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you listen to our radio show first and understand our characters and then watch our TV show, it's cool. It works. But if you're actually able to see us and see our characters and then listen to our radio show, I think either way, whether you listen or watch the show first, it doesn't matter. You get to see, it's a character driven. Both things, it's all character driven, which is, we got some characters on our crew.
Well, Flats Mafia Radio airs from 8 to 9 a.m. on 102.5 The Bone Sunday mornings. Go to theboneonline.com, get the app, or listen on your radio. James Garrison, Ryan, Bubba, Betancourt, thank you for being on Happy Hour, and I will see you guys Sunday morning.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Thanks for having us, Two Fingers.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.